4 years ago, Malaysia's king, Mohammed V, married a beauty queen from Moscow. The couple looked great. Just a year later, the king kicked her out of the palace. She was pregnant at the time, but Mohammed was sure of his decision. Since then, he has never seen his son. Why did he abandon his wife and child? What secrets did the beauty queen keep? And how does she live now, 3 years after divorce? Keep watching to find out. This is Wow Channel. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. Let's begin! This wedding was a surprise for everyone. He was a 39-year-old man, a Malaysia's king, a very powerful and wealthy person. Everyone thought that his wife would be a Malaysian woman of royal descent, but he chose a 26-year-old model from Russia. Oksana Voivodina was a beauty queen and won the Miss Moscow contest. They had a big difference in age, 23 years. The king was the same age as her father, therefore no one believed that this couple got married for love. Because they were so different, the girl was accused of marrying the king because of his money and power. Oksana Voivodina was an ordinary girl from Russia. She was born in the small town of Taganrog. Her father is an orthopedic doctor. Her mother is a musician. Since childhood, the girl studied English and dreamed of making an international career. She didn't have a goal just to get married successfully. She wanted to get an education and find a good job. After graduating from school, she moved to Moscow and became a master of management. While studying at university, she decided to take part in a beauty pageant and won the Miss Moscow crown. After that, she was offered to work as a model abroad. One day, while working at the stand of expensive watches, she met Mohammed. At that time, he was the Malaysian Sultan of Kelantan. The girl could not believe that she had met a real king. She joked that she was also the Queen of Moscow. They later met in a restaurant and talked about everything. The king and the beauty queen exchanged phone numbers and talked every day. They wanted to meet again, but it was not easy as they lived in different parts of the world. Oksana signed a new modeling contract and had to go to work in New York. One day the king invited her to come to Kuala Lumpur with her parents. The girl was fascinated by Malaysia. One evening, Mohammed said that he had fallen in love and offered Oksana to become his wife. The girl said yes. The king had previously been married to a princess from Thailand, but they got divorced. In 2018, Mohammed V and Oksana became husband and wife. The wedding was luxurious. At first, they celebrated in Moscow and then in Malaysia. For him, she converted to Islam and changed her name. After the wedding, she was Riana Petra. Ordinary girl moved to Kuala Lumpur and settled in the palace. Everything was almost the same as in a fairy tale about Cinderella, but this story has an unhappy ending. At first, everything was great. They spent a lot of time together, traveled and planned to have children. A few months after the wedding, Oksana was pregnant, but it soon became clear that her husband kicked her out of the palace and she moved back to Russia. The girl was depressed and could not name the real reason for the breakup. She supposed the king's family intervened in the matter. They have always been against this marriage, since they believed that an ordinary girl from Russia was not worthy to be the wife of the king and give birth to heirs. They were furious when Oksana posted on Instagram that her son is the future king of Malaysia. The royal family could not allow this. Members of the clan put pressure on Mohammed and convinced him to refuse of the throne and file for divorce. Oksana gave birth to a child in Russia, but the king did not accept him as his son. The young mother was frustrated. She could not understand why her husband had abandoned her and her son. After all, she never gave reasons for jealousy. In addition, the son was very similar to his father. and there was no doubt that this was the child of Mohammed. In court, the former king said that the reason for the divorce was the adultery of his wife. He also did not believe that the child belonged to him. When Oksana became a mother, she found out that Sultan Mohammed V divorced her by a talaq tiga, that is the irrevocable divorce and most severe divorce in Islam. He has never met her and the child since then, but at first time he gave them money for life. And there is another reason why the king suddenly fell out of love with his wife. He learned the secrets of her past. The woman always pretended to be from high society, but it turned out that in her youth she had a dissolute lifestyle. As a student, she went to parties and dated guys. She also took part in a reality show, Holidays in Mexico, where she flirted with men. In one of the episodes, she made love to one of the guys in the swimming pool, and all this was filmed and shown on TV. When the king found out about this, he was furious. It was a great shame for the Muslim family. They didn't care that it happened in the past, before she met Mohammed. Nobody could accept it. Perhaps this was the main reason for the breakup. In addition, Oksana began to receive threats from someone from the king's entourage. She had to be careful and even carry a weapon. She had to start new life in London. Today, the son of the former Malaysian king, Leon, is already 3 years old. The boy never saw his father, but at the same time he is very similar to him. Oksana is a single mother who lives in Great Britain. Many people think that the king gives her money and she spends her time in luxury. But this is not true. Mohammed has married again and does not take part in the upbringing of the child. Therefore, young mothers have to work and earn a living. Oksana got a job in a large real estate company. She is an investment advisor. She spends all days in the office and she can only rely on herself. If you look at her photos on Instagram, you will understand that she has a great life. She often travels to resorts, wears expensive branded clothes, and does not need anything. Her son is growing up bilingual. He speaks English and Russian. He often asks about his father, and this is very nervous for his mother. I didn't feel well for a moment, but I had to answer. I've been waiting for this question, and I've ran through possible answers many times, Oksana writes in her blog. I quickly showed Leon on the map where London is and where Malaysia is, and said that his dad lives there, far away, he cannot come. So, I think it's very sad when a father doesn't want to see his son, and it doesn't matter what the disagreements between the parents were. This story is instructive for all girls. Even if you are the wife of a king, in one moment you can lose everything. Therefore, it is important to have an education and a job for relying only on yourself. Do you think the former king will ever agree to meet his son? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share your thoughts with me, to click like and to subscribe. See you next time.